What? I'm in a magical garden. I've never been here before. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm Minty Salad, and I saw Shang-Chi. It is directed by Daniel Dustin Cretton, but it also stars Simu Liu and Aquafina. Not the drink, the person, Aquafina, with all the W's in her names. Anyway, this movie, the hype that I heard about this movie was none at all. I heard that it was bad. Upon this review, I gotta say, you gotta stick around to watch my real thoughts on it. The movie starts. You get this guy, right? You see this guy. His name is Sean. It's Sean with a spell with an H and a U, by the way. There's many different ways to spell Sean, but he has the coolest way to spell Sean. And so this Sean that we follow, along with a good old pal named Katie, who is really good at race cars, who's good at, like, car racing and whatnot. She's just, like, super reckless and whatnot. I just love her as a character already, because Sean's like, hey, don't do that. Don't just, like, drive other people's cars. Why would you want to do that? Obviously, I know why she would want to do that, because race cars are cool, but it's a little bit dangerous. But she's also a little bit, like, reckless, and she's just here to live her own life. I love their favorite activity, which is getting drunk at night at a karaoke bar. Specifically at night. Because they're after work, they're like, oh, I should go to sleep. And boom! Karaoke. And I'm like, this is a character now drinking on screen? I haven't seen this since Iron Man. Now we have, like, a drunk character. Wow! That's neat. This character reminds me a lot of A.S. Riley, with his favorite hobbies including drinking, having a lot of fun at karaoke, having a blast. These are his hobbies. This is Riley, okay? So they're doing this valet job, and they meet up with their friends, and their friends are having the time of their life, being adults, thinking, oh, I have some responsibility to the world. I gotta be all serious and wear my mother's clothing, or my aunt's clothing, or wherever it came from. It's not mine. And then, like, you got a bunch of people lecturing them, like, why do you just want to be this driver? You have so much bigger aspirations, but such a disappointment on this family, Sean, or the friends, or whatever. Anyway, so now we get these guys, right? Random guys show up out of nowhere. They're on a bus. These guys are here to steal his pendant. Why are they stealing his pendant? Don't know. Crazy how that happens. But we do know that his mom gave it to him. So this pendant is very special to him. So there's a whole train, bus fight scene. Not on a train. I wish it was on a train, but it was on a bus. I gotta say, it looks cool. There's so much, the choreography, the framing, the everything about the scene, the movements. It looks so beautiful, especially when you got the part where he's jumping out of the back half of the train, and the back half of the train just starts flipping upside down, and it's just a lot. Bam! So much visual work, visual factory, so much. Also, I hear a lot of visual stuff, visual effects went into this. Although they tried to do it more real. They tried to film as much real as they could and then put CGI around that, which is pretty admirable. So I'm just watching this and just like, oh, it's so pretty. I love it. It's so action-packed. The movement's great. I should also mention, speaking of action-packed, the reason why this movie is here in the first place, Sean's dad He's trying to discover this village, trying to find these mystical beasts. He finds his village, and guess who he finds? His mom. And mom's his sore protector. But in order to lead him away, she goes with him, fall in love, have children, super nice, happy, fun times. And then some tragedy strikes. She gets killed in front of Sean. And so his dad puts on these rings that he took off because he was in love with the mom. Because she gave up her powers to be with him. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna murder everyone now. And I'm super cold, ruthless. He kills the gang that kills the mom. Right? We're at that point. So this is what's going to happen. But before that, before we even meet the dad at all, there's just a lot of fighting going on. They get the pendant after crashing the bus. The bus had just no brake lines because the guy that was fighting him slashed it. No brake lines for you. Brake lines are a privilege. They're not a right, especially in San Francisco where this all takes place and happens. You go to the pendant, and then there's this fancy schmancy postcard, right? And he goes to the address on the postcard, and his sister goes to this fight ring. Fight ring's cool. There's a bunch of people just fighting. You also got a fun cameo by Wong. He's just defeating a guy pretty smartly. He's just like he's in Fight Club, pretty much. He's doing Fight Club shenanigans while he's badgering Doctor Strange for a lot of things, for being reckless. Anyway, I just liked that cameo. But then you got Shang. He's fighting his sister, and the sister's really good at what she does. She's like better than him because he doesn't want to hit him. He doesn't want to hit her, like, at all. He's like, oh, stop, and then bam, right in the noggin, right in the nose, precious bits. And of course, she's like, well, you're defeated you. I'm gonna take you to my office now. And then they talk, right? And it's so satisfying because they go to the office and then a bunch of alarms ring because there's the guys. Sean actually led them there. Good job, Sean. They try to steal the woman's pendant, the daughter. And there's also a bunch of guys chasing after them. The sister leaves rather. And Shang and Katie have to go down something super terrifying. It's these wooden slabs right alongside the building. And it's like terrifying because they're doing all these martial arts and stunt work. They're just doing all the kickiness, all the flippiness, all the punchiness, all the swingingness. And it's just like, how? You're going to die if you had one misplace in your handwork. Boom, dead. Right to your death. And a lot of the bad guys do get this treatment when they're trying to attack Sean and they get thrown off. Kablow! Your body doesn't mean anything anymore. He gets Katie because Katie finds this guy. Well, the guy found her. The guy finds her. She's on this bamboo. And the bamboo is being supported. That guy takes his knife, slashes the bamboo, and now she's stuck, hanging up on her life for like 50 feet or something. She's 50 feet above the air. Very scary. Very good timing on Shang's part, because it's like one take. You see him fighting all these guys, kicking their butts, and then going down to save Katie. But then he doesn't make it, but the sister does. The sister's here. Now the sister is here to help, and now they're all in one spot. They can go back to the dad's place. So they go back to the dad's place. Like, hey, what are you doing? Come on. The dad's like, I've heard her. I've heard our mom. Our mom is our mom, your mom, my wife, is speaking to me, and she's been trapped in our village, and she wants to escape. And of course, initially, these people are like, hey, I believe you. It seems a little bit shady, but I'm not. Why do you want these pendants? Why are you being so aggressive with us? So he takes these pendants in like this room. Pendants are the eyes of this dragon, and then so much cool water stuff happens. There's like waters that float through the air, like around them, and then like falls to the ground, and just like starts telling this story that the dad is speaking, and it's like, oh my goodness, I love the visual effects. Man, the visual effects in this movie are awesome. Like, I love it. So they talk to the dad. They're like, I don't know if the dad's like correct or not, but they're on this path, right? And they say something to question him. They're being bad, so they send them to the gulags. I meant prison. He sends them to the personal prison, and there they meet a guy, an actor. He was impersonating him. He was impersonating the dad, so he got locked up. And this cool little mystical creature with like a bunch of wings and what, and has no face, and very sensitive about that topic, by the way. So don't mention the face to this winged creature. And they're like, oh, we need to escape. And pretty much within that scene, the sister is like, hey, there's a bunch of tunnels. Let's escape through the tunnels. So they escape through the tunnels. And they go to this village. And in the maze is trying to eat them. There's a maze to get to this village. And there's this like specific way the forest moves in which the winged creature can kind of guide. The winged creature's like, oh, I don't have a 19% certainty that we'll survive, which are not high odds, but the winged creature successfully takes them to this village, and guess who's driving? It's Katie. She was driving those cars recklessly, and Lickler got her driving in a forest that will eat her if she made any wrong mistake or acted too not quickly at all. So they get to this village. The village is clearly like, hey, you're outsiders. But their aunt is like, I know who you are. We need your help. You see that thing over there? The big old red door covered by dragon scales? Yeah, that's the voice that's calling your dad. And since he has the 10 rings, they're trying to break out. And guess who's here? The dad. I'm like, oh, how did the dad get through the maze? Did he fly up? I don't know. I feel like this might have been easily solved with a helicopter. But anyway, the dad's still there. He's like, hey, you're not gonna stop me, because I need to let my wife go. She's imprisoned. And so they have this big old fight, big battle, but guess who just walks away? The dad. Here's a calling. The calling to the door. Help, help, the door says. And he's like, I gotta go towards it. But Shang is like, no, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to touch that door. So he tries to fight the guy. Of course, the guy's like, I have 10 rings. Bam. You get hit with the force of 5 rings twice. That means you get hit with the force of 10 rings. And he gets yeeted into the water down below, right below this big old gate. And then he propels himself forward, and he starts hitting this wall. And then there's like these very existentially terrifying creatures start coming out of this wall and start just stealing the souls of everyone. And at this point, it's like, oh, this is truly terrifying. What is going to happen? I don't know. So they're all fighting. the 10 Rings people, the people that came with the dad, have to work with these people to protect their village from these monstrosities. And every time they steal a soul, it just gets them stronger. That's not good. And the wall is so weakened by now. Like, Shang's up there, right, trying to talk to his dad, like, hey, can't do that. And he demonstrates the ability to take all of his rings. He throws 5 rings at Shang, and then he harnesses it, and then to do the damage, the dad's like, I'm gonna throw all the rest of my rings at you. Hi, yeet. And then Shang has all 10. And it's just like floating them around. And then he just throws them away. Hey, nope. I'm not gonna fight you. I deactivated your rings from you because you gave them to me. This horrifying thing happens. The gate bursts open. And guess who comes out of it? This monstrous, demonic, existentially terrifying, Lovecraftian horror-esque thing comes out. It looks like a Cthulhu, but not underwater. Like, it has like so many tentacles, just so many appendages just floating, and I'm like, oh, if I saw that in real life, I would be scared to death. I don't know if I'd fight that thing, but the thing is stealing the soul of his dad. And the dad gives Shang the 10 rings. And now he's the leader of the 10 rings. And he's learning how to use his abilities, which is pretty neat. Luckily, his mom has trained him how to harness the powers of the 10 rings just by, like, being very flowy and using the momentum. The aunt also taught him how to use his dad's momentum against him. Because the dad, very brutal. He was defeated once. It was by his mom. And so the mom's genetics are still there to defeat him. Which is pretty cool. But anyway, a lot of deaths happening. A lot of souls are devoured. But the Great Protector, which is like a water dragon, it's like floating around. I love it. I love the way that it moves. And also got Shang just like riding on the back of that dragon, just up to the dad and up to this massive creature, and they're trying to destroy it. And he has the 10 rings. He's like powing, but looks like the Soul Sucker's got a whole grasp on the Great Protector and is about to steal his soul. And at this moment, I'm like, no, what is going to happen? What could possibly happen? But luckily, Katie, we haven't talked about her in a second, but Katie, she's been doing arrow things. She's been learning how to shoot a bow and arrow, and she's a real good shot. She takes a shot to hit this protector, the Soul Sucker's neck from this protector, and this gets hit, kablow, then gets released, and the protector has time to hit him again. He has to go down to the water. The guy's chasing him. But then he has his cool water powers where he summons him in like this cool whippy tornado. A cool watery tornado, rather. And just boom, 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 boom. Just a big old tornado of water disappears and just like capturing this guy. The best blowing move. All 10 rings in his stomach. Just kind of going vrr in his stomach. And Shang's just in the air doing a bunch of aerial things and such. And he's just commanding the will of the 10 rings. And then he eventually just like has so much energy that he releases, he's like, ugh, and then big explosion. He dies, everyone's safe, and now everything is all hunky-dory and no one's now dying. But then the dad died. The dad's an unfortunate casualty of this war, right? But there is a good news. They go back to their friends after this whole battle. And I still just can't get over the CGI in which Shang-Chi is on top of a dragon trying to slay another dragon in water while he's creating a whirlpool, okay? That cannot be achieved realistically, obviously, because dragons don't exist. And I love CGI for this, because CGI has the ability, you have the means to create something cool, visually interesting, and something that hasn't been done before. And I don't think this has ever been done before. And this is a brilliant shot, and I must applaud everyone who made this film. Good job, y'all. Y'all did a good job. So yeah, then go back to the family. The friends are like, oh, I don't believe you. And then boom, Wong comes in, steals them away. You have the 10 rings, right? Yeah. Well, come here. Come hither. You are to follow us and to meet Bruce Banner. And fully realize that, you just got yourself part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that's how the movie ends. Oh my goodness, I love the visuals in this movie. There's so many good visuals. Also, not to mention, the choreography is great, the camera work's great. I gotta say, probably the reason that many people didn't like this movie that much is the first 30 minutes are pretty dialogue heavy. I mean, it's not like even exposition, because the dialogue's entertaining, gives you information, so I guess it is exposition, but it's not like an exposition dump. They're giving you some information that's relevant to the characters now, and it's important. And I like all the character building that they did. Also, I really gotta mention the sister character, because she is like my favorite female in the entire MCU. And that is a high bar. She ran away from home after the parents are here, dead, or at least the mom is. The mom's dead, the dad's doing all these things, like running a whole shabam, whole lot of people to train. And guess what? She leaves, starts her own underground fighting ring. And honestly, it's like she owns the place. Wow, that's really incredible, actually. That's great. And she knows so much kickiness. And she's important to the plot. And she's not annoying. She's really cool. Like, this sister character has to be one of the best females ever in media. So yeah, I give this movie like a really high praise. It looks beautiful. It's entertaining. And the part at the end, you got Wong, who's also joining them and karaoke and drinking and having a fun night and festivities. And it's great, and I love it. And I gotta give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. If you'd like to see some extended mint salad sauce plus some ASC daily videos, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ASEPresents. For $3 a month, you can get all of that. So go check out patreon.com/ASEPresents. And I'll see y'all later in my salad, croutons, and bacon bits.